Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, YouTube Live proudly brings to you its Sports Talk Podcast is the world. The swaggy one, Swaggy E. The rowdy one, Rowdy B. Air, E, and B. What's happening?
What is going on, man? It's been a long time.
Man, you are choppy today, man.
Am I choppy?
You on the Direct Connect? I'm actually not on the Direct Connect, but
I am not on the Direct Connect.
Oh man, you look terrible.
Oh, hold on.
But you know what's weird? Before we went on, you looked fine. Oh, you cleared up. I think you get money now. Let's see.
Oh,
nah. Goddamn. All right, better. Yeah, you're going in and out. Anyway, we gotta get to it. Okay. So first off, yeah, you're just gonna look grainy. That's it. Okay. All right. First off, congratulations, my brother, on the wedding.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Come on, you got to talk more than that.
How does it feel?
You're a married man.
I want you to take the floor, man. No, it's been great, and thank you for coming out to the wedding. And it's been awesome. It's been just a little over a month now, man. It's just a lot has changed. New job, and honeymoon, and just everything, man. And just
I am gonna cut you off.
It's a great time.
I'm gonna cut you off because your audio is coming out of sync. I'm really getting annoyed right now. Okay.
Oh no.
I'm really getting annoyed. No, I think it's gonna catch up. It's gonna catch up.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm gonna take over for a bit because I know I don't want you to get too shy around here. But dude, the wedding was amazing. So I'll let everybody know it was in San Francisco City Hall. May 20. What am I talking about? April 26th.
Yep.
Oh gosh, your audio is terrible. You know what? While I talk, see if you can reconnect with the Direct Connect, man. Come on.
I got you.
Or it might completely mess up. I don't know. I'm annoyed, but I'm not annoyed. Let me see. Oh wait, you're good now. Did you do something?
No.
Man, you're terrible. All right, try to do it now while I'm talking about the wedding. Do it now. Reconnect back, and get back in because your audio, everything's messed up. All right, so Earl has dropped out. I'm very, very annoyed. I should have asked him prior, but I'm just gonna go. All right. So it was in San Francisco City Hall. Beautiful wedding. It was unbelievable. I should have had pictures to put up, but that's fine. Maybe he doesn't want that. His wife Zoe, beautiful. And it was an unbelievable affair. Now the reception was in El Mar, I believe it was, on the San Francisco water, by the water. Unbelievable. By a Peruvian, some famous Peruvian chef's restaurant. And it was just an unbelievable affair. All you can eat, okay, top notch, top level, top shelf liquor, everything. It was just incredible. And I'm just so happy for Earl and Zoe as they're embarking on their new journey. And it was just incredible. We talked about it on the show. And then the last thing I'll say, because we had a little clip about it, was the fast food. I never been to the In-N-Out Burger, and that was an experience. But I will say this about the In-N-Out Burger, and then I may mention this to Earl when he gets back on. It was as good as he hyped it up before we went out there. And I did get the animal style burger, which is, supposedly the big, the way to get it with everything on. It was delicious, but the day before I had the Jack in the Box burger.
Oh.
And I must say, that the Jack in the Box burger was comparable to the In-N-Out burger, Earl.
Oh, really? Oh, I jumped in
Yes.
at the right time here. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, you are clear right now. I got the animal style just as you said. Wow, it's clear. Audio great.
Love it.
You got to do this. You got to do this every time, okay?
All right, I got it.
But you know what? I forgot too because I'm not even on it.
I mean, you can look good. You sound good right now, so.
Well, I always look good. I always sound good. You know what I'm saying? I was saying now, I had to look it up at your reception because the food was just so good at El Mar, right? Or La Mar or something like that. El Mar.
Uh-huh.
It's a famous Peruvian chef or something like that, right?
That's correct. Yes,
Let
sir.
me tell you, because I love me some Peruvian food. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Lomo saltados on deck.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the conchafas on deck.
Yes. Yes, sir.
There's another one that I really like. Oh, yes, the arroz con chafa, I think, whatever the heck it is, which is the fried rice. But let me tell you, that steak that they brought out, that appetizer steak, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
That steak, they already knew when they came out around my area. I was like, "Oh, yo, my man,
bring another plate."
Yeah, give me two or three off the muscle, 2 or 3 of the muscle, right there, 2 or 3, right there. Did you get to try that steak?
Oh yeah, yes, I did, sir. Yo, it was a great situation, man. We're really lucked out with the quality of the food and the venue and everything. Beautiful weather. It was just great.
Listen, that steak was marinated in heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did. I'm a man that marinates meats. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big proponent of it. I don't know what they marinated that in, but that was unbelievable. And then they have
I'm gonna ask the chef because I want the recipe too. You know.
Well, all the money you spent, they better tell you.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, everything was on his house. Okay, it was what was I sipping on? Something top shelf. Other people had, but you put it to you like this: Earl had Johnny Walker Black top shelf.
Come on,
or
man.
you could have. I think I was on the Makers,
sir.
Market, something like that.
I
was on that.
That Makers is necessary for me, man. I need a function with some Makers in there, man.
I don't know if you know, not trying to brag or anything, but she spoke to me. I'm a Maker's Mark ambassador. I'm not joking. I got my card. It goes down. Okay?
I love it.
But yeah, it was just unbelievable. It was just a great time, and happy for you and Zoe. And now you're the first married man on the show.
There you go, man. There's room for one more, but we're just waiting for him, right?
Don't hold your breath around here, man. don't hold your breath around here, man.
Oh,
might have a marriage in the tank before that. Oh man! All right, let's get to it.
Yes,
let's get to it. NBA Finals. We are 1-1 tomorrow night. It gets busy. Okay, tomorrow night. We are in the Bay where you are.
Yes.
The last year in the Bay.
Yes.
What are your thoughts so far in the finals?
So my thoughts are, man, just first of all, these first 2 games have been super exciting. I look at these teams and, obviously with all the injuries, it definitely evens out the playing field for the Raptors to kind of really make an opportunity to win the series. When you really look at it, it's I think these teams on paper, you would think that, when healthy, I don't think the Raptors can really compete with the Warriors. But with all these injuries, there's an opportunity for them to kind of knock the Warriors off. But with that said, you see with the last game just how hard it is to knock the Warriors off because of their ability to defend amazingly, and to decrease their turnovers, to get guys off the bench that don't play high amount of minutes during the season, but really can come in and contribute when called upon. You look at Boogie, only played 8 games coming back from that torn quad from earlier in the playoffs, and then to come back yesterday, or a couple of days ago, and played 28 minutes. He looked like he was laboring a little bit, but again, he made a lot of big shots and a lot of big rebounds, a couple block shots. Really just put his stamp on the game, and it's kind of the reason that they picked up Boogie, and it's kind of the reason he's here for these kind of moments. So if you want to take a little fast forward towards the next game, I'm looking at it like this. It sounds like Klay Thompson. It's maybe going to play. Most likely, we'll say 70-30 that he's going to go. I think barring him re-injuring himself in practice or getting back into the court too early, he's going to definitely be at that game. But it sounds like KD's definitely ruled out for game 3.
Yep.
And Kevon Looney, you can say how big he is or how important he's not, but he's a body that they need right now, and he's done with a fractured collarbone. So you're talking about the injury bug, and we haven't even mentioned Iggy, who's basically playing on one leg right now. And it's just really just shows you the heart of a champion again, and just he steps up and he plays big time minutes for his team, plays amazing defense, and hits big shots when necessary. So again, this team is just really hard to knock off, and a team like the Raptors, you can't go 5-8 minutes without scoring a point. I think you're going to beat the Warriors. So I think the score is a lot closer than what it really represented, the final score, because the Warriors, if they were hitting their shots, could have easily have blown them out by 10 or 15 points.
Yeah, how do you let the Warriors go on an 18-0 run in the third quarter? You know what's funny? Somebody called me. So I was talking on the phone or whatnot, and I wasn't really – and then, I'm looking up, and I'm like, well, wait a second. Wait a second. They didn't even look like they had the ball in their hands. Cousins, what a gut, Cousins showed me something. What a gutsy performance by Cousins. And you're talking about laboring a little bit. I thought from the first possession it was over.
Yeah.
With Cousins. I was like, oh, because he scored and he ran down or whatever the first time. And I'm like, oh, look how he's running. And when Klay, listen, you cannot let that game slip away.
I agree.
On top of that, you're trying to make it as short of a series as possible.
I agree.
Because you do not want KD coming back. If KD comes back, the series I don't want KD to come back because I want it to be a good series. If KD comes back, it's series over. The only way Toronto can win if KD comes back is if Klay can't play. So that's their only shot. I mean, and Klay, like you said, KD's going to miss game 3. He'll most likely be back for game 4, if not game 5, which will be back in Toronto. But once Klay comes out of that game, they're down Klay, they're down Durant, they're down Looney. Cousins is hurt. What more do you? Iguodala's hurt. What more do you want? How much more help do you need?
Yeah. And not only that, Curry was not healthy that last game. It was like these flu-like symptoms, apparently, right? So
I don't want to hear it.
But again, that play, being sick is a part of that. But the point of the matter, like you said, it's like you look at the opportunities, right? And it's like you got to strike when the iron is hot and when these guys are down. Any team, right? You're looking at some of the best teams, you got to catch them off guard, right? And what's the thing with the Warriors? They hit 3-point shots. When they're not hitting those 3-point shots, you have to make sure you're hitting those shots and defending ball as well too, because that's the only way you beat these guys. And there really hasn't been. I mean, except for that Cavs team. After Draymond Green did the whole silly maneuver when he kicked LeBron James, there really hasn't been a team that's beat these Warriors in this position. So it's just, again, you have to take every opportunity when you don't have healthy bodies on the floor to beat a team like the Warriors, if you think you can beat the Warriors, because this is the only way. It's injuries and them not hitting shots.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. We all knew that you weren't going to get the same performance from Siakam.
Yeah.
So other guys had to know, hey, we have to step up in this one. Kyle Lowry, you hit 3 threes. He had 13 points, I believe. Unacceptable fouling out.
Yeah.
You have to stay in that game late. That was a problem. Now, strategically, I want to get into something. Ibaka had 7 points, 10 boards in 16 minutes. Marc Gasol had whatever it was, 6 points, 6 boards, but played 31 minutes, something like that. How is Ibaka, who matches up better, okay, and can shoot threes? Now Gasol has added that 3-point shot to his game.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the guy is moving in molasses, and I understand. I don't know why you wouldn't want Cousins to have to guard Ibaka.
I agree.
And come out and move than this laboring Gasol. Gasol is not what he once was. We all know he was a great player, but he's not what he once was, and he's slow and robotic. He did come up big in the conference finals. Absolutely. I will say that, but it was a different team.
Yeah, and like you said, the finals and basketball is all about finals. It's all about matchups.
Hold on. I'm hoping they make this change, but you have to start Ibaka, and he has to play more. If he's going to give you 2 steals, 7 points, 10 boards in 16 minutes, okay, and the guy is a knockdown 3-point shooter. Well, no, I would say knockdown, but he's a decent 3-point shooter. Yeah, and he's a amazing shot blocker. He has to play more. Period. He has to start. He should be the one with the 30 minutes. Gasol should be the one with the 16.
Yeah, I agree, and I expect that that's going to be an adjustment that Coach Nick Nurse is going to make for Toronto to maybe match up a little better with these guys. Again, I think, like you said, you don't really need a bruiser or a big body like a Gasol to have the presence in the middle. What you really should be doing is doing the whole matchup situation where you have the longer guys. You have a Siakam, an Ibaka, and you have Leonard on the floor at the same time. That could pose a lot of problems for a lot of teams if they're playing smart and staying out of foul trouble. So I look at that, and I'm hoping that the coach will maybe make some kind of adjustment. Maybe they'll start off with Gasol, and then maybe they'll have the quick leash on them if they see that he's kind of getting into trouble. But I honestly don't see a need for a Marc Gasol in this particular series, because there's really not that bruiser or somebody in the middle that these guys have to worry about. I think if the Raptors are smart about it, like you said, they make the matchup change and put Ibaka in the starting lineup, and just making sure like these guys are staying true to their coverage. You got to box out. You can't give these guys second opportunities. And when I say these guys, the Warriors, you can't give the Warriors a second opportunity to catch balls and off offensive rebounds and just get another 3-point shot. They're daggers. And you're talking about a crowd at the Oracle in Oakland last season, like you said. They're moving over to San Francisco to the Chase Center.
They want to win.
This crowd is going to be out of control. I mean, it's already one of the loudest stadiums in basketball. This crowd is going to be at a feverish pitch. And you think about this, it's just really not a recipe that's made well for the Raptors, especially how they lost that last game. So if they really think that they're going to win this game, what they need to do is get a fast start and defend well and get the crowd out of it.
There's also another move that I would make as well. I take Iguodala out of that starting lineup. I don't know if I want to play around with Cook because he's producing very well. I'd maybe start McKinney. Iguodala has got to come out of those heavy minutes, and he's always better off the bench. What you want him, as a Warrior, you want him off the bench, and then you want him late in games to give you everything.
Absolutely.
So those are two. And listen, those are two moves that probably are both going to be done. We'll see tomorrow night, but I can't see Iguodala starting this game. And if they roll Marc Gasol out there, I am not going to be happy. I'm serious. If they put him out there, I'm going for the Raptors. I know all of a sudden you're this honorary Golden State guy, and you're going for your Warriors, but I'm tired of seeing them, just running roughshod over the league. And how great would this be for Toronto? This would be amazing for Toronto. So
I agree.
How big of a moment would this be for Kawhi? Winning the chip and then heading into free agency?
No, but not only that, winning a chip in both conferences, right? How many people can say that? And not only just winning a chip in both conferences, winning them and being an instrumental part of the team, not just like a 13th guy at the bench or something like that. You know what I mean? Like Kawhi is a big part of what both of those teams have done. And when you look at it, yeah, the Raptors made a good gamble by trading DeMar DeRozan, who was a beloved son of that city and was like him and Lowry were like little brothers. But they made the right move by picking up an obviously better player, and that's not a shot at DeRozan. It's just it's acknowledging the reality of it. Right?
Did you hear what DeRozan said today?
He was a sacrificial lamb, and you're damn right you were. And I'm glad he knows that, and he knows it. He's not Kawhi, and that's not a shot. That's not a shot at anybody, right? Just like a lot of people. Kawhi's not Jordan. Kawhi's not Kobe. They're all unique in themselves, and we're not going to get into the who does Kawhi play like in, because I don't think there's anybody that I can recognize. And he's not Jordan, and he's not Kobe, and he's not LeBron. It's just different. They're all different animals.
Speaking of that, did you see this stupid the rankings of the best NBA players in history? They did it by tiers. It's called the pyramid. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. I'm going to pull this up. All right, I'm going to ask you a question while I pull this up. I'm telling you, it was so insulting, this pyramid. But
and are we talking about all-time players, or we're talking about, because I think
ever.
That's so subjective. That's so subjective.
No, some of this I don't even understand. How are we discussing this? You know what I'm saying? Like they had Steph Curry in the third tier. Listen, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up. I got a question for you. If Kevin Durant doesn't come back in this series, so it's a two-part question. If Kevin Durant doesn't come back in this series and they win, does he stay put or does he leave? And if he comes back and they win, does he go?
Yeah.
But you could take it one at a time. So basically, if he doesn't come back and they win, does he stay or does he go?
You know, I feel like his decision is definitely based upon whether they win or lose, right? I agree. I feel like if they win and he doesn't come back to play in the series, but obviously would still, he would still be a playoff contributor, so he would get that other ring as well too. I would feel like he would definitely want to go to the greener pastures and kind of find a team that's his own, because he knows it. A lot of people in the league know it. We know it out here in the Bay. Like, this is really Steph's team, man. Like, Curry runs the Bay. The kids look up to Curry because they can identify with him. It's just his market. And I'm not really sure that KD is really concerned about whether it's his team or not, but he's never really had his own team. And if he's like the best player in the league, which we think he is, yes, I am saying he's won over LeBron right now. And that's not just because LeBron missed the playoffs. I'm just talking about what KD can do.
He's not better than LeBron, and he can't do anything better than LeBron, but shoot.
Okay, so we'll have that conversation for another day. But the fact of the matter is, I think, OKC was never his team either. That was Russ's team. Like, the ownership loved Russ. They sided with Russ. Hence, that's why KD decided he wanted to go and do his own thing, right? So I'm looking at this. He's going to have the opportunity to brand himself as, this is my team. And I don't know what team he may be thinking of. You hear the Knicks. You are starting to hear the rumors that the Nets are really becoming a very viable option. And even more so for Kyrie. So I think about it like this. He's got options.
I heard about it for Kyrie. For KD, I heard the Clippers, and I heard obviously the Knicks, but heard way more Knicks.
Yeah. And that could be our media market that drives that rumor, because listen, man, I don't know where all these sources get their information from. And obviously people leak stuff out because they want it to get out. There's nothing that gets out that's not supposed to get out, right? Like, that's just how things work in this whole source thing, right? You got a source, I got a source. They're talking to agents, they're talking to friends, they're talking to people behind the scenes. That's how people are getting their information. So, I mean, obviously there's got to be something there to say, KD is coming to New York. but I don't think he's made his decision 100% yet. So I think it still could easily be up in the air. Maybe he does come back to Golden State one more year to see if they can run the four-peat.
I know. I wonder if he does sign for 1 year, but he would have to get Clay to sign for 1 year, or does it make sense?
Clay,
or does it make sense at all?
Clay deserves max money, and I think this is the issue that they're going to run upon. They have to.
But what if they
pay Green money and they have to pay Clay money next year?
You said Green and who?
Clay. They're both up.
Oh, that's right. Clay is not this year; it's the next year.
Is it? It's not this. It's not this offseason coming up.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is that I think then they also have to pay Draymond as well too this year. I think. Okay.
Well, listen. That can be looked up. Okay, if you can look that up while I say what I got to say. Clay, no, never mind. Clay's definitely this year.
Clay is definitely this year. That's totally
now. I don't know if Draymond is. See, just check Draymond's contract. Just check Draymond Green contract details, because I got this pyramid thing up. So
you know what? Yeah, 2020. He is unrestricted free agent.
Okay, so Draymond's the year after.
Correct. Okay.
Okay, so this summer is Kyrie, Clay, Kawhi.
Correct.
And okay.
But the problem is they can't pay them all, right? So it's like
and Kevin, of course.
But, yeah.
No. Well, listen. I wonder if Durant and Clay, if they won this year, would do a 1 year contract to see if they can four-peat. You're still getting crazy money, and then you go, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to sign 1 year, $10 million. They're going to sign crazy money. I wonder if they would to try to keep it going. All right, so this pyramid. And I would say this. I think Durant is leaving no matter what.
Oh, wow.
And I think Clay is getting his money. They're gonna keep the nucleus of Curry, Clay, and Green. And I also think that KD being out and them still winning a series, and then on top of that, winning a game in Toronto and possibly winning this series without Durant, I think it lets Golden State know, hey, we don't need to, we can let him go. He's going to do his own thing. You fill in some patchwork. You already need to, you sign somebody else. I can actually see them keeping everyone and Cousins. Absolutely. I think Cousins getting hurt destroyed his value during the offseason. They can essentially get him for much cheaper. And it seems like he, with his heart, him showing his heart, he may want to stay. He may want to prove himself. But Durant wants his own thing, just like LeBron wanted to leave Miami because he wanted his own thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, pyramid time.
Okay.
So they did it tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Tier 1 is let me put this down because I got to also see your reaction at the same time. Tier 1 is Jordan and LeBron as the two best players ever in history. So they're on the top of the pyramid. Or shall I start at the bottom? Mm-hmm. Let me start tier 5.
Yeah, why don't you start?
I'm going to start tier 5 and I'll work my way up. Tier 5, we have John Stockton, Walt Frazier, John Havlicek. Looks like, because it doesn't have the names here, and that's Moses Monroe, Scottie Pippen. Half of the faces are cut off, so that's why it's a bad picture. Vince Carter, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson. And there's one other guy, I just can't make him out, which is next to Moses Malone. 4th tier, Karl Malone, Kevin Garnett, Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, David Robinson, Oscar Robertson, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Charles Barkley, and somehow Jerry West is on that same tier. Now
Okay.
we go to tier 4. Excuse me, that was
Wow.
tier 5. That was tier 5. The previous one was tier 6. It got cut off. Whatever.
Okay.
Tier 4: Dirk, Duncan, Dr. J, Kevin Durant, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Kareem.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna go with the guys that are apparently better than uh, Kareem and Russell,
And Duncan
and Duncan, and Duncan. Uh,
and Oscar, but okay, yeah. And Jerry West.
somehow Oscar and Jerry West is on the 5th tier. All right, so they're on the same level, and this is Colin Cowherd's pyramid. It looks like.
Oh,
Now,
really? Is that who this is?
allegedly, that's what it looks like.
Well,
But
I was just looking that up. I can. Yeah.
who's that other name on the bottom next to Moses Malone, in between Malone and Pippen? I can't make them out from that half picture. But getting back here, somehow we have Jerry
Okay.
West. We have
I see.
Jerry West and the Big O on the same level as Steph Curry and Barkley on the same level as Jerry West and the Big O. Now, 3rd tier: Akeem Olajuwon, Kobe. Somehow Shaq is the best center all time, right? Or 1 or 2. He's on the same, and then with Magic and Wilt Chamberlain. So that's your tier 2, and of course the tier 1 is Jordan and LeBron. But we actually have now gone to the level that Shaq is better than Shaq's on the same level as Olajuwon, and he's better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And Bill Russell. 11
Yeah.
championships in 13 years.
Yeah, no, I know. That's a little tough. Listen, I get them. I get it. But, when I look at this is pretty
Steph Curry is as good as Jerry West?
No, and I don't agree with that statement at all. But you're also talking about, listen, Colin Cowherd is also a person that's probably in his late 40s. I don't trust him as a true basketball historian. So these lists are really totally subjective in terms of like what you've heard, what you've reviewed, what you've seen in the past. But unless you've seen, basketball starting from back in the 50s and 60s and you're still watching basketball now, I think these lists are really just totally subjected to the time period that these people were more relevant and old enough to recognize that they can list a list like this. I mean, of course, I could have easily put Wilt Chamberlain on a list because I see the stats, I've heard the stories, I've heard the myths, I've heard it all. But the problem is I've never actually seen him play. And so I don't know what that would actually translate into actually today's game. Again, I'm looking at the tier as we speak now, and there's definitely a lot of things that there's a lot of things I question. Is Charles Barkley on that 4th tier, or is he not in that 5th? I mean, Vince Carter, is he on that 5th tier?
No, this is nonsense.
I know, exactly. But see, the whole point is that exactly it's a totally subjective list to what he's seen and what he knows from just being a little too young to.
Well, listen, if you never seen Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain play, or you haven't seen their stats or anything that they've done, then you can't make this list.
I agree. Okay.
All right? But I'm telling you right now, because I've done my research, I'm telling you, Wilt Chamberlain was so good it was scary.
I'd also say it was a different age as well, too, and the size of
Wilt Chamberlain
on the same level.
No. Wilt Chamberlain can play in any era, any, period. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain was an absolute freak of nature. All right? The guy was an Olympic caliber track athlete.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay? The guy was an Olympic caliber shot putter. Okay? After basketball, he became an incredible volleyball player,
Mm-hmm.
anything. There was a college coach, football coach, that wanted to sign him just to block field goals because the guy's vertical was insane.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, this is what I'll say about Will Chamberlain, and anybody stupid enough to say that, oh well, he was just bigger than everybody, so that's it.
Well, no.
I'll say two things. What is the weakness of being bigger than your opponents? What's your weakness?
No. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, okay. So the answer is you're obviously slower. Okay, you're bigger, you're stronger, so
Right.
you're obviously slower.
Okay.
He was bigger, faster, and stronger, and all natural. Okay, so was Jim Brown, which is
Right.
annoys me about that too. Is if these guys are smaller than him, they're quicker than him. How is he beating you? Okay. The other thing that I'll bring up is, which they never have an answer for. Okay, these fools that say this. Okay, Shaq has 4 championships, right?
Yep.
Shaq was bigger than everybody he played against. So, do we take that away from Shaq?
No. I didn't say the argument holds water. I'm just saying that's a lot of people's argument in terms of like Will Chamberlain, in terms of just a different era. I agree that nobody holds that against Shaq, but again, I've also watched Shaq play. So, and yes, have I watched highlights and a couple of games of Will Chamberlain play? Sure. But I haven't seen the whole body of his work. I can't be like, man, that game where he dropped 60 and 30, that was the best. Yeah, again, I don't have the collection.
Okay, well, dude, listen, these numbers are just so ridiculous.
Oh, of course they are.
The guy averaged 50 points in a season once.
Yeah.
Do you understand how incredibly? I don't care if you're playing against, college players. I'm being serious here. The guy averaged 33 rebounds in a season once.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could pull up these insane stats if you want.
Know.
This stuff is ridiculous. People want to hover around 100 points. Anybody can have a crazy game. Okay, anybody can have an insane game. Okay, Scott Skiles
Mm-hmm.
had 30 assists in a game once. Kobe scored 81 against the Raptors. Okay, fine. We're talking about to do that. That's why what Russell Westbrook did, which I thought I'd never see, is average a triple-double for a season. That's why what Oscar did was so incredible, because it's over the length of time. And I'll just say this one last thing about these idiots of Wilt Chamberlain. The other thing is, if you're the biggest and you're the heaviest, because the guy was, 7'3", 270, 275, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
how are you playing more minutes than the guards?
Yeah.
How do you have the endurance? That's how much of a freak of nature that he was. He had more endurance than the guards, than the forwards, than the other centers that were apparently so tiny. Okay, like Wes Unseld wasn't big. Okay, and like Bill Russell wasn't big. It's not just about being 7 feet. It's about positioning. It's things like that. It's upper body strength. It's lower body strength. How is he playing more minutes than Bill Russell? Okay, the guy averaged 48 minutes a game. One season, he averaged 48 and a half because of overtime. How do you play every single second of every single game? Except for that one championship he got taken out of. He wanted, he got injured. That was it. Well, that stupid coach didn't put him back in and they lost. All right. The other thing is Shaq, right? Phil Jackson went to Shaquille O'Neal, okay, when he was coaching him. And he said, what was the best thing that Wilt Chamberlain, the most impressive thing Wilt Chamberlain ever did? And Shaq goes, scored 100 points in a game. He goes, no. He goes, grab 30 rebounds in a season and 50 points in a season? He goes, no. Phil Jackson goes, 48 minutes a game. If you want to be Wilt Chamberlain, try playing 48 minutes a game. That's the most impressive thing he did with that size.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Shaq, when and tried it. And after about 6 or 7 games, he goes to John Sally and goes, "Hey, can you talk to Phil and ask for more playing time?" After 6 or 7
Yeah.
games. That's how incredibly hard that is.
Yeah. It's amazing. Listen, and that's why he's definitely a player that's definitely going to be in a lot of people's tier 1, so to speak. But again, that's why these lists are all so subjective, because I'm sure we can give you a whole bunch of use cases where Magic Johnson could have easily been considered on some people's tier 1, right? And are we going to take that away from them? Why wasn't Larry Bird on that tier 2?
Well,
I mean, listen,
to be tier 1, you'd have to be top 2 all time.
Yeah.
I think. Listen, this tier thing. Let me just go 1 through 10. The 2 best players all time is Chamberlain and Jordan, in my opinion. Now you go. Now you got 8 spots left, right? So you got to go the 3 centers: Russell, Chamberlain, Jabbar. Boom. Now you're down to 5 left. Now, Jerry West has got to get a spot. You're down to 4. It gets dicey after here. I'm gonna go Magic Bird. Okay, so that's your 7, 8, 9. Am I correct?
Yep.
And that leaves 1 spot, which I can fill that with Tim Duncan. So
Wow.
I would say the best. Oh
no, I think you have one more spot.
No, I forgot. No, I forgot LeBron. That's because I thought I mentioned him already. Well, I think 1, 2, and 3 are Jordan, Chamberlain, LeBron. I also forgot Oscar. He's got to be in there. So it's got to be. So Bird probably has to go now. So it would be which isn't a knock.
Yeah,
It had to be Jordan because LeBron's now there. It had to be Jordan, Chamberlain, LeBron, Russell, Jabbar. Oh, that's why. I think I added Chamberlain twice. Russell, Jabbar, 5 spots left.
Good?
West. Is that good? West, Magic, Duncan, Oscar, and then, it's neither here nor there if you want to go Elgin Baylor, who I think was the other person on that list.
Yeah. I got a better idea. Let's save this for the next show. We'll do some research and we'll give us our top 10s and the reason why. How about that? Well, we'll go in depth analysis in terms of why we did that, and we could do rebuttals and all that. So save that for the next show.
Sounds good. Just to finish up, so prediction for the series. I have but it all depends on if Clay. That's the one thing, if Clay can come back or not.
Yeah, well, put it in your prediction.
I say, now it's only because of Clay that I don't know. I say Warriors in 6. Who you got?
I'm gonna go Warriors in 7, which is dangerous because they're gonna have to head back to Toronto. So let's hope that it's safe.
They might have Durant, so it's not dangerous.
Yeah,
if Toronto is smart, they better try to end this in. If Toronto's really smart, I mean, they got to try to end this in 6. Period. In 5 or 6. Period.
I agree.
They have to win Game 3. They have to. They can't go down 2-1 hole. They have to win tomorrow night. Can they still win the series with the threat of Durant coming back?
I don't know.
Man, I think you got to win this one. You can lose Game 4, and you got to win 5 and 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but then again, listen, it may already be a wrap. It's all going to depend on Clay. It may already be a wrap because Durant may be coming back Game 5. He may be coming back Game 6.
I thought Game 2 was as pivotal a Game 2 as there's ever been in a series, and I think we'll look back at it. And sure, if the Raptors were to win somehow, that we can go ahead and say, you know what, maybe it wasn't as pivotal, but I just feel like that could have easily been the turning point of the season, because when you have your opponent down and they still come up for air and they still give you that knockout punch to win the game, I'm sorry, it's got to be a little defeating. It's got to be a little bit of a blow. So
You cut out there for a second, but yeah, listen, they had to They had to do it, period. They had to win game 2. You had to take both in your hometown and then go back to Golden State knowing that you can make it a short series and get out before Golden State wakes up and gets Durant back. You have to. And now, it's looking bleaker and bleaker for them to win, or at least get a commanding 3-1 lead. So when Durant comes back, you already have the series in hand. He's already not going to be 100% or nowhere near 100% his first game back. He's going to be nowhere near in rhythm, and it would be too late anyway. But that's it. We'll close the show. I don't know what happened to Earl's connection. He's gone, but perfect timing for him to be gone because we're ending the show anyway. So we'll convene. We'll do something, maybe a halftime, just like we did last year during one of the games. And definitely after game 5, we have to do another show on this. That's it. So EnB signing off, and catch you soon.